I worked in a manufacturing environment up until '97, and then I left to take care of my elderly mother and aunt. And my aunt went into a nursing home in December, and I thought, it's time to plan Debbie's life. I signed up at the Fayette County office. First workshop was on Thursday, so the next one was here at Wayne County on that Friday. And Bob Hayes was the instructor, and he kept talking about career advisor. And finally he said, any questions? And I said, how do you get a career advisor? And he said, well, I'll hook you up. So he led me to Erin Wadsworth, and through her, she guided me through the process. She signed me up for workshops. I wanted to get as many as I could in the shortest amount of time so I could find employment.
At first, she seemed discouraged. At first, most people that come in and they've been having, a horrible time trying to find work, they're not in best of spirits. But as time went on, she got her GED. She was really starting to learn things in the workshop. Her resume was coming together. So you could tell the attitude change. Even though she hadn't obtained work, you could tell she knew she was getting there. And she was so motivated. Like, she really did most of the work. I was just there to schedule her, give her suggestions.
Well, for well over a decade, there's been a partnership between the WorkOne here in Wayne County, Richmond Adult Education, and Ivy Tech that we think serves the students in Wayne County very well. In adult education, whether it's at our classroom that's at the WorkOne or our normal center, it's a very individualized curriculum. And they start at the level that they're ready for.
I could not have passed the interview without the workshops. Without the workshops, I couldn't have identified my skills, or, a lot of these things you carry with you and you don't realize they are skills. So without the workshops, I wouldn't have made it.
It's amazing how many people, they don't realize the skill levels that they have. And we go through this list of all the skills that we've identified as being adaptive, transferable, and job-related. And they check them off, and then they go back into ICC and improve their skill sets.
WorkOne really strives to connect customers with employers. And one of the ways that we do that is through job fairs. Deborah is a very motivated WorkOne customer. Deborah already had a WorkOne workshop scheduled that morning, and she attended it. And through the additional encouragement of Bob Hayes, as well as her career advisor, Erin Wadsworth, she came to the job fair in between the two workshops that she had scheduled. And it resulted wonderfully for her. She got a job.
And I did something last week that I haven't done in years. I had bills come in and paid them the same day.
I've done a lot of different jobs throughout my life. I owned my own body shop for a while. I closed it down. Things got kind of tough. I started going out looking for a job, and I wasn't having a lot of luck. Basically, I'd seen commercials, advertisement for the Indiana Career Connect and services that WorkOne had, and I went to my local WorkOne office in Rushville. That's when I met Sheila, my career advisor, and I guess I'd have to say honestly that I was at a point in my life where I was really getting discouraged, and it seemed like everything I tried just was not working.
Well, he'd been some other places before with his job search, and he when he come in, he was frustrated. But it hadn't been long I worked with him, and he looked at me and he said, "You have told me more in 20 minutes than anybody has told me in the last 4 years about my job search, what I needed to do."
In the beginning, WorkOne was very beneficial in our recruiting process because we were a startup. We had to get people through the door immediately. Not only did they pre-screen our candidates, but they also set up our information sessions, which is the first part of getting your foot through the door. So we could focus our resources on interviewing and training and getting the people in here. So it worked out very well. We had people that came in with some skill sets, but maybe they weren't necessarily the right skill sets, which this is a new industry in the area, so we knew we were going to come across that. So having the OJT was a benefit, and I think it opened the doors to a bigger market of employees for us as well.
We've enjoyed, obviously, a wonderful relationship with WorkOne, and in Progress Rail's perspective, this was a company that started with a national search, and they were looking for specific things. We had all of the items that in place that Progress Rail wanted. We had a building that was suitable for their needs. We had an available labor force that was wanting to work and willing to improve themselves to work. And we have WorkOne, Ivy Tech, Ball State helping train and enhance the skill sets of our labor force. When you bring all three of those together, it's a pretty winning combination, and it certainly is what brought Progress Rail here.
It takes a whole team. You know, it takes the individual having that willingness and being persistent.
And I want to thank WorkOne for helping me with this. I definitely got the job of my dreams. Progress Rail is great, and I want to thank Diane for, you know, working with me at the beginning, and she did a great job of making me feel comfortable, because I was very nervous when I came in here, and you know, she was like, it's okay, you know, and that helped a lot. And ever since I've been here, it's just really been good. It's been a really good experience.
I had heard about WorkOne many years ago and found myself 2 years ago needing the services. I had just lost my job that February before I started school, and my daughter was heading to college, got set up in a program and started going to the workshops and attending Ivy Tech. I met Miss Cindy Morgan, and she walked me through all the steps and told me every detail of the next 2 years of what my obligations were.
We just start talking, and I find out about her past, and that's when I found out that she was a dislocated worker. Her husband was also a dislocated worker. She told me that they grew vegetables and stuff. Her husband did hunt in the wintertime for their meat and everything. And that she wanted to do something more with her life. She wanted to get into the schooling and better herself, not just for herself, but her husband and her kids.
In many ways, WorkOne and Ivy Tech serve students and clients that are often, you know, in a similar place that brings them to WorkOne, that brings them to Ivy Tech. And I know that we work together quite a bit. I have heard stories from many of our students that they have come to WorkOne and received help with resume preparation, connecting with potential employers, and that really is what it's all about. So that I kind of sometimes think of WorkOne as a little bit of the icing on the cake for those students, that perhaps, you know, Ivy Tech gave them the education and the externships and the skills and knowledge that they needed, and WorkOne helped them close the deal on a job.
I have my licensing finished. I have the license in medical billing and coding, and I have the license as a CMA. And they're both national, so I can go anywhere with them.
I think with joy, it just lit up on her face when she got her licenses. I think it was really great.
It's a lot better now. And to be able to kind of choose the career that I would enjoy and will be enjoying for many years to come.
I worked at Key Plastics for 17 and a half years. We shut our doors. They took some of our jobs and moved them to Michigan, Mexico, and to China. Cody, he was a big help on getting stuff like for the TAA help set up. He helped us, here's the paperwork that you need. He'd helped us fill out what we needed to fill out. Some people were upset and down, I'm still coming. He would joke with them, cut up with them. It sort of helped lighten the mood a little. That was a huge, huge thing.
Stacy came in really wanting to work at a company that was building in Montpelier called NRP. Once they opened the job order, Stacy was one of the first that applied. She had taken all the workshops prior to that's required for OJT, did the work keys testing. And so she was ready to go and be promoted once they did start hiring.
Economic Development and WorkOne worked together to bring NRP to Blackford County. They had the foresight to put together, they purchased land for a business, having it designated as a shovel-ready site. And so this allowed a company that was looking to already know that there was a place that was ready for them to start immediately to build. Through that process, even through the very beginning phases, Economic Development had brought WorkOne in to talk about what things could we do together to help this employer, you know, through the startup phase of bringing that company. And from day one, when they started hiring folks, started using the on-the-job training, and which is one of the things that Stacy was hired with.
We match candidates with them in maybe an on-the-job training situation. On-the-job training is a wonderful, wonderful venture. It's a win-win-win situation. It's a win for the employer because it cuts way back on the expenses they have of training. Of course, it's a win for the candidate because he has a job that he maybe might have 70% of the job skills. But with the training, he's going to be able to have a job that he could have never had before.
One of the things that NRP was very interested in for WorkOne to assist them is doing that pre-screening of individuals, saves them some time and energy. So they made a $15 million investment and have hired over 60 individuals, which is the largest new employment in 20 years for Blackford County.
I mean, I never thought when they said we're shutting down, it's like, man, I've been here a long time. I plan on pretty much retiring here. But where I work is they treat the people wonderful. They're great. They do a lot for the employees. I mean, it's an amazing place to work.
Yes, I get by with a little help from my friends.